Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hello friends, this is Vijay. Welcome to ForumIAS Hindu Daily. In our today's news analysis, we are going to discuss the topics in the slide. The first topic, how India can tackle diabetes burden. Here the author have been discussing the ICMR India report and its data on the diabetes prevalence in India. Then the second one, what does the alleged COVID data leak reveal? So recently we have seen that the personal data of the citizens who had taken the vaccination under the COVID portal had been released in the Telegram, right? So the second article, this is all about the data leak in the COVID portal. Then the third one, what is IndiaUS Initiative on future technology? Then the fourth one, it is all about the monkeypox and its rapid spread in the Asia Pacific region. Then the last topic is about the light pollution. So these are all the topics we are going to discuss today, and the significance for each and every article had been given here. Kindly make a note out of it. Now without any delay, let us dive into the discussion part. So this is the article. Kindly go through the article, how India can tackle its diabetic burden. Guys, before getting into the article, we should know some basics about the diabetes, right? So what is meant by diabetes, guys? This is a metabolic disorder, right? So this is a metabolic disorder. So there are several variants of diabetes are there. The type 1 diabetes is there, type 2 diabetes is there, then gestational diabetes is there. So gestational diabetes, it used to occur during the gestation period for the women. Now, in the diabetes, the sugar level in the blood will be extremely high. So if it is between 120 to 125 mg means, we can say the person is in the pre-diabetic stage. If it is above 125 in the post-fasting means, then we can say the person is a diabetic. But usually with respect to India, we are considering 140 as a norm. So WHO prescribed above 125 as a diabetic, but in India we are taking 140 as a norm. In written documents, we are keeping 125, right? But usually the doctors have been taking 140 as a norm. If it is above 140 in the post breakfast means, then we can consider the person as a diabetic. Now, here the report had given various data. So it had stated that in India, almost 11% of the population are diabetic. Then it have been stating that the pre-diabetic people are almost 15.3% of the total population. Okay, so from 2008 to 2020, ICMR, they actually worked in 5 phases across the states, and they had collected several data on the diabetes. And it also states that in India, 101 million people, they are in the diabetic. In the percentage, they had given 11%, but we are a highly populous country, right? So almost 10 crore people are diabetic in India. And with respect to the pre-diabetes, almost 13 crore people are in pre-diabetic stage, which means in the future, there is a huge possibility for 13 crore people to become a diabetic patient. Then with respect to the World Health Organization states that around the world, only 40 crore people are having diabetes, which means 1 in 4 is from India, right? So India is having 10 crore diabetic patient load, whereas the entire globe is having 40 crore people in a diabetes condition, which means among the 4 people, 1 people will be from India. Then in the article, they had revealed that urban India, which is having a share of 60.4% prevalence of the diabetes, whereas the rural population is having 8.9% prevalence, which means we all well known in the rural region, the primary sector is dominating, whereas in the urban landscape, the secondary and manufacturing industries are dominating. So the physical work will be very high in the rural region, whereas in the urban India, the physical work will be very low for the people who are living there. Therefore, the diabetics load is very high in the urban region. And here in the article, they are throwing some lights on the several state related data. They are actually taking Kerala. We all well know Kerala is a highly developed state and their social indicators are better than the rest of the states. But there, the diabetic prevalence in the rural region is very high compared to the urban region. So this is all because of the development. This is what the article have been highlighting. Then with respect to the northeastern states, we all well know the northeastern states are dominated by the high mountains, right? So we can think that the physical work will be very high among the people. But they had given that the example Tripura and Sikkim. In Tripura and Sikkim, the diabetic prevalence is very high. In Tripura, the demographic composition is highly different from the rest of the states. The reason is the Bengalis are dominating in the Tripura landscape. So the cultural aspects of the Bengali people have been leading to their diabetic condition. So that's what the article have been stating, that because of this issue only, the diabetes prevalence is high in Tripura. But with respect to Sikkim, we all well know it is a very small state. So the people are having almost 30% diabetes. So 30% of the people in the Sikkim is having diabetes. So this is what it had been discussed here. Then article have been stating that the government need to take some innovative measures to prevent the pre-diabetes stage to become a diabetes, because once the pre-diabetes stage patients, if they are turning to a diabetic patient, means it will add extra burden on the public health sector, right? So that's what the article have been insisting. But in India, the conversion of the pre-diabetes to diabetic stage is extremely high. That too, in some cases, within 6 months, people are becoming diabetic. So the government need to take several measures to prevent the pre-diabetes stage to attain the stage of diabetes. So this is what the entire article have been discussed. Now let us discuss what is meant by type 1 diabetes and what is meant by type 2 diabetes. Right? The type 1 diabetes is diabetes insipidus. Type 2 diabetes is diabetes mellitus. It had been given here, right? So the type 1 diabetes, it used to come in a tender age. So before the adolescent, the people will be having a type 1 diabetes. But among the patients who are having type 2 diabetes, they used to attract the type 2 diabetes between the mid of 30 and mid of 40. So this is the timeline. Most of the people, they will be attracting the type 2 diabetes. And with respect to the body habitus, type 1 diabetes, the people may be thin or normal. But the obesity is the major reason for the type 2 diabetes. And these two things, it is not necessary. Then with respect to the insulin, in type 1 diabetes patients, the insulin secretion may be very low or absent. But with respect to the type 2 diabetes, the insulin, there will be abnormal secretion or there won't be any secretion with respect to the insulin. And most of the people who are having the type 2 diabetes, they will be having normal secretion also. There will be normal secretion, but why people are having diabetes means there will be a insulin resistance in the blood. So there will be insulin secretion, but it couldn't able to inject the glucose into the blood cells. This is the major reason for the type 2 diabetes. And here they are given the probability for the identical twins. So for the identical twins, the type 1 diabetes is 50%. But with respect to type 2 diabetes, they are having 90% probability to attract the disease. Then with respect to the prevalence, it is less prevalent in India. Okay, the type 1 diabetes patient load is very low in India, but the type 2 diabetes patient load is extremely high. Among the 10 crore people, almost 9 crore people in India are having type 2 diabetes. So this is what the report had been discussed. And in type 1 diabetes, as I already told you, there won't be any secretion with respect to the insulin, or the insulin secretion will be very low. So this is the major reason for the spike in the glucose in the blood level, right? So this is with respect to the type 1 diabetes. Then with respect to the type 2 diabetes mellitus, there will be insulin secretion. Okay, here they had given that these insulin particles are there, but it couldn't able to inject the glucose into the blood cell. So this is the major reason for the spike in the blood sugar level. And these glucose, it will act as a energy. So if the cell, it didn't get the energy, means we will be getting a thirsty condition. So it will be very thirsty for the people who are having the diabetes, and they used to drink often. All right. Then they used to often urinate, because the excess blood sugar, it will force the kidneys to function throughout the day. So therefore, the urination also will be very high among the diabetes mellitus patients. And what are the causes, guys? The first one is sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle is the major reason for the diabetes mellitus. Then poor diet. The diet, it usually will be having high starch content and low fiber, low fat, low protein content. So this is the major reason for the diabetes mellitus. Then physically, the people won't be active. So physically inactive. So people will be physically inactive. So these are the three major factors have been leading to the diabetes mellitus. Now let us wind up the article here. Let us move on to the next article. This is the second article, guys. What does the alleged COVID data leak reveal? Right? We all well known about the COVID application. In the pandemic time, the government had rolled out the vaccination campaign with the help of the COVID portal. So in COVID portal, we used to register and we will get the required vaccination center with the help of this portal. And apart from that, this COVID portal, it also tracked the availability of vaccination in each and every vaccination center in the jurisdiction. So with respect to the application, guys, each and every application, it will be having some data storage, right? In day-to-day life, we are having the Facebook, Instagram, right? So the news feeds and the video feeds, everything will be stored somewhere. So that is the data storage. So generally, the data storage companies, they are locating in the subpolar and polar region, because these data storage equipments, they will be requiring low temperature to operate in an efficient manner. That's what most of the companies who are operating the data storage equipments, they are locating in the subpolar and polar region. Now with respect to the COVID application, the data storage support is provided by the Amazon Web Service. So the Amazon, you all well known, the conventional, the trading platform, right? So the same Amazon, it have been providing the data storage service to the COVID application. Now recently, we witnessed most of the sensitive data, what the people enrolled in the COVID application had been available in the Telegram pages. So it actually questioned the privacy of the citizens, because here the data with respect to each and every citizen has been compromised. According to the 2017 judgment, the Apex Court, it clearly stated that the privacy is a fundamental right, right? So here the fundamental right had been violated. So that's what the issue have been flaring up, and SCERT have been inquiring the issue. And Amazon Web Service, they have been stating that the application is outdated and there is no evidence of data breach in their data storage devices. So this is what Amazon Web Service have been stating. But the government have been alleging the Amazon Web Service for the data breach. So we don't know what happened exactly, but it is clearly the COVID application is outdated, because the government have been using the COVID application for a long time, and before the COVID vaccination, they actually used the COVID portal for rolling out the pulse polio vaccination campaigns. So they have been using the COVID portal for almost 20 years. Therefore, we can say that the COVID portal is outdated. But we need to wait and watch for the certain report, how they are going to tackle the issue. These steps and all we need to wait and watch. And with respect to this article, you no need to go deep into the how they certain have been investigating the stuffs and all. We need to get a big picture on what is certain and what is the data protection law and what is the 2017 judgment. Then how the COVID application have been functioning. Then some basic tenets about the COVID portal. These are all the stuffs we need to know. And this is a brief about the COVID portal, guys. COVID portal, it is a cloud-based IT platform. Is supposed to handle minute details for India's COVID-19 immunization program. So here in the COVID portal, the people who are enrolling for the vaccination, they will be actually registering their Aadhaar details, their address and their mobile number. And here, based on their enrollment, they will be allotted the vaccination centers and they will receive the text message from the COVID portal. And here with respect to the COVID portal, we can do a live monitoring of vials in the cold storage, right? How many vaccinations we are keeping in our vaccination centers and all can be monitored with the help of the COVID portal. And what is the agencies involved in the COVID portal? It is owned by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, right? So MeitY, it is providing some services to the COVID application, but COVID is owned by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Earlier, they actually used the COVID portal for conducting the pulse polio vaccination and other immunization programs. So this is what it had been given here. And the same platform has been expanded for rolling out the COVID-19. Here there is a spelling error. Rolling out the COVID-19 vaccines, and the Ministry of Electronics and IT along with the National Informatics Centers are handling the backend and the tech infrastructure for it. So on behalf of the MIT and the National Informatics Center, the Amazon Web Service, they provided the data storage service to the CoWIN application. Here what are the features? First one is monitoring and tracking. So as I already told you, we can track the number of people who are getting vaccinated for the COVID, and we can monitor how many vials we are keeping in each and every storage. Then it helps to counter the proxy vaccinations. In certain cases, people will be getting a double vaccination, right? So that stuffs and all will be eliminated with the help of CoWIN portal, and it is a Aadhaar enabled. This app would enable beneficiaries to be identified efficiently through the use of Aadhaar platform. So this is a brief about the CoWIN application. Now let us have a brief about the SCERT. SCERT is the nodal agency for responding to the computer security incidents as and when they occur. The constituency of SCERT is the Indian cyber community. And SCERT, it actually became a functional organization in the year of 2004. And the IT Amendment Act, IT Amendment Act 2008, it designated SCERT as the national agency for handling the cyber security incidents. Then what are the functions they are doing? They are actually collecting and analyzing the information with respect to the cyber incident. Then they are forecasting and alerts of the cyber security incidents. Let's say the WannaCry, it came, right? So with respect to the WannaCry and all, they actually provided the alerts to the corporations. Thirdly, emergency measures for handling the cyber security incidents. So if there is any data breach or any security breach happening in the India cyber security environment, means SCERT will be the first one to come forward and they will handle the issues. Then coordination of cyber incident response activities. So SCERT, it will gel the organization who are functioning in the cyber security, and it will take proactive measures to keep the cyber environment in a safe way. Then fifthly, SCERT will issue guidelines, advisories, and vulnerability notes and white papers relating to the information. Then sixthly, it will provide some security practices, procedures, prevention, and response and reporting of the cyber incidents. Here they are playing a proactive role, and they are also equipping the personnels to handle the cyber security related incidents. Then such other functions relating to cyber security as may be prescribed. It will be prescribed to the SCERT by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and from the National Informatics Center. They will also provide some commands to the SCERT. So this is how the SCERT have been functioning. And here the first one is Budapest Convention. It is the one and only international treaty to address the internet and cybercrime. Here India is not a signatory. That we need to know, because if we are signing the Budapest Convention, means we need to share the data with the rest of the countries who are a part of Budapest Convention. So that's what India determined not to sign the Budapest Convention. Then Cyber Surakshit Bharat Yojana. This scheme actually it was launched in the year of 2018 by MIT in association with the NEGD. And here they are actually creating the awareness on cyber security, and they are also keeping some workshops on best practices. So this is how Cyber Surakshit Bharat Yojana have been functioning. Then Cyber Swachhta Kendra. Here the function is botnet cleaning and malware analysis center. So it provides for the detection of the malicious programs and free tools to remove such programs. So if you are reporting any botnet in your system, means they will provide some free tools to you to remove such kind of programs from your PC. So this is how Cyber Swachhta Kendra have been functioning. Then we are having I4C, Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. So it came into enforcement in the year of 2018 to combat the cybercrime in India. And it have been functioning under the Ministry of Home Affairs. This is very important because this is the one and only organization that too in from the security domain, it have been operating under the Ministry of Home Affairs. The rest of the organization and all have been functioning under the MIT. So this is the difference you need to know. Now with this note, let us move on to the next article. This is the third article, guys. What is the India-US initiative on future technology? So here with respect to this article, the ICET is the core of the article. So ICET is nothing but an initiative which was agreed between India and US in the year of 2022 May. So on 2022 May, the ICET it came into existence. Both sides National Security Council have been cooperating under the ICET umbrella. So under the ICET, some 6 areas have been focused. One is artificial intelligence, then quantum computing, which also includes the semiconductor and wireless telecommunications. So mostly the areas which have been focusing under the ICET are disruptive technologies. So in the upcoming weeks, PM Modi have been visiting the US. There he is going to sign several agreements under the ICET. So far we didn't get any concrete initiatives under the ICET. So the area of cooperation is also highly generic. So that's what it had been discussed here. And here they also discussed in the upcoming weeks, we will be signing an agreement related to the standardization in the AI. In the last week discussion, we had discussed about the HAP, the Hiroshima AI process, which was agreed by G7 countries, right? So the G7 countries have agreed upon the HAP, which focuses upon the standardization of the AI. So here under the ICET also, both the government, they are going to work on the standardization of AI. And apart from that, the US agreed to give the jet engine technology to India. So the mega jet engine project is also about to get signed during the visit. Then both the countries, India and US, they are going to launch the IndiaUS program. So it is dedicated to the defense domain. So in the upcoming visit, IndiaUS will be launched between India and US for better cooperation. So this is what the article have been discussing. Then what is the ICET initiative, guys? The ICT Initiative, it was launched by India and US in the May 2022 and is being run by National Security Councils of both the countries. So under the ICET, we are having 6 areas of cooperation, which are scientific research and development, quantum and artificial intelligence, defense innovation, space, advanced telecom. So in advanced telecom, we are also going to engage in the production of 6G devices and the semiconductors. So this is what it had been given here. And what is the significance of ICET? It would forge closer linkages between the government, academia and industry of 2 countries. We can say from India, IIT, and from US, the Harvard and the University of Pennsylvania will be collaborated together to create their disruptive technologies. Then with respect to government, the National Security Council of both the governments have been operating with respect to the defense sector. And with respect to the industry, the GE Electricals, it is expected that GE Electricals would collaborate with the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for the production of jet engines. Because you all will know, jet engine is the heart of the fighter jets, right? Even in the Tejas LCA, we are going to use the GE jet engines which is manufactured in USA, because the jet engine what we manufactured is Kaveri, right? It doesn't have a required body to thrust ratio, so therefore we are depending upon the GE jet engines for our LCA Tejas. Then secondly, the objective is to provide cutting edge technologies to the rest of the world which are affordable. So after the collaboration, what is the technology they are going to develop, it will be shared with the rest of the world. So this is what it had been discussed here. Then thirdly, the launch of the ambitious ICET dialogue is seen as an alignment of strategic, commercial and scientific approaches in the field of technology. Then apart from that, guys, with respect to India is procuring enormous weapons from Russia, right? Almost 60% of the weapon basket is dominated by Russia. But we have witnessed that in the Russian-Ukraine war, the efficiency of the Russian arsenals are poor. Therefore, in the future, we need to expand the basket with some other countries. Therefore, we can think of the technology from USA. Lastly, this is eventually likely to be mirrored in the progress made in Quad. So what are the developments we are going to accrue from the ICET? It will be reflected in the Quad. And Quad, we all well know, it is an informal grouping of 4 countries. So the 4 countries are in the Indo-Pacific region, the Australia, Japan, India and USA. So that's it, guys. Now let us wind up the article here. Let us move on to the next article. This is the 4th article, guys. Monkeypox outbreaks in Asia Pacific region. The spread of the monkeypox in the Asia Pacific region is highly agile. So that's what the article have been discussing. And in the last month, the WHO had declared the monkeypox as a global health emergency. So before 3-4 months, the same WHO, it lifted COVID-19 from the health emergency list. And here with respect to this article, we need to know some basics about the monkeypox virus and what are the causes for concern. That's it. We don't need to go deep into the global situation update and all. And what is a monkeypox virus, guys? It is a viral zoonosis, which means the virus usually it have been spreading to humans from the animal reservoirs. And the symptoms with respect to the monkeypox are very similar to the smallpox and the chickenpox. Usually the patients who are having the smallpox, they will be having small bumps in their skin surface, right? So the same symptoms the people who are suffering from the monkeypox will also be having. And this monkeypox virus, it usually will be appearing in the rainforest region of the Central and West Africa. Usually the countries like the Cameroon, Congo, then Democratic Republic of Congo, then Nigeria. So these are the countries usually it will be getting affected by the monkeypox. But in recent times, due to the global climate change and all, it have been spreading throughout the globe. What are the symptoms people will be having, guys? People usually will be having the swollen lymph node and on and off fever. And usually it is a self-limiting disease. Within 2 to 4 weeks of its appearance, it will disappear from the patient's body. So this is what it have been discussed here. And how is it transmitted, guys? Monkeypox usually transmitted to humans from the animal reservoirs, from the infected animal. And between the humans, it is transmitted through the sexual contact, right? Then through the body fluids, then there are respiratory droplets. So these are all the factors have been contributing for the transmission between the human beings. So is there a vaccine? Generally, the patients who are having monkeypox will be treated by the vaccines what we are using for the smallpox. So we don't have any dedicated vaccine for the monkeypox. Then what are the causes for concern, guys? The first one, people are highly unaware about the monkeypox virus. So the awareness is very low. Okay. If people are highly unaware means how they will be reporting. Obviously, the reporting also will be very poor. So if people are not reporting means we couldn't able to trace the contact, right? So the contact tracing will be very poor. Because these are all the circumstances they had witnessed in the West and Central African region. So that's what they have been discussing here. And moreover, in developing countries, we are lacking the genomic data. If we are having the genomic data means then we can do a genomic surveillance for the concerned pathogen and it will allow better contact tracing, right? So with respect to Asia Pacific region, we don't have genomic data and all. So these issues have been making the circumstances more difficult. So this is what the article have been discussing. Now with this note, let us move on to the next article. This is the last article, guys. Increasing light pollution has long-term implications. Here with respect to this article, we need to know what is meant by light pollution and what are the long-term implications upon the human health and ecosystem and upon other species, right? So these are the few things we need to know. And here they had discussed that the light pollution have been creating impact upon the habitat loss, then the disruption of food webs and declining insect populations, right? So these are the few factors they have been discussing in this article. And here in the schema, it is stated that about 35% of the light is wasted by unshielded and or poorly aimed outdoor lighting. So here they had given the data with respect to the US. So in essay writing and all, we can use this data. And almost 15 million tons of CO2 is emitted each and every year in order to power the residential outdoor lighting in the US. So this is with respect to the US. And 3 million passenger cars, they are emitting the excess CO2, which is almost 40,000 tons per day for lighting, right? So these are the few basic facts you need to know. And here they had given the sky glow. What is meant by sky glow? This phenomenon is known as sky glow. Here in the image you can see, so the excess lightning, it have been powering the entire atmosphere, right? So this is what the sky glow. So these are all the effects of the light pollution. The first one, it wastes energy and money. So lightning that emits too much light or shines when and where it is not wasteful. So wasting energy has high economic and environmental consequences. So what is the economic consequence we are having, guys? If we are spending huge power means, then we will be ending up in paying high power tariff, right? So that is the economic consequence. Then with respect to the environmental consequence, for each and every unit of power generation, we are actually combusting excess coal, right? So it will end up in emitting the CO2. The excess CO2 will be there in the atmosphere because of the excess power utility. So this is one of the environmental consequence. Then we will be actually facing the sky glow phenomena. So it will be having long-lasting impact upon the ecosystem and wildlife. Here in the second point, disrupting the ecosystem and wildlife. The plants and animals depends upon the Earth's daily cycle of light and dark rhythm to govern life-sustaining behaviors. What are the life-sustaining behaviors, guys? Sleeping, eating, reproducing, then migration. These are all the life-sustaining behaviors. So these are all life-sustaining behaviors. It will be affected because of the light pollution. Then scientific evidence suggests that artificial light at night has negative and deadly effects on many creatures, including amphibians, birds, mammals, insects, and plants. Because their sleep cycle will be affected, their regular phenomenon and regular life cycle and all will be affected because of the excess light pollution. So this is what it had been discussed here. Then they had given an example. A study has now shown nocturnal dung beetles are forced to search for cues in their immediate surroundings when they no longer navigate using natural light from the night sky. So it is not only applicable to dung beetles, but also for several amphibians and avians. The natural light have been acting as a guiding phenomena for migration. So these migration cycles will be affected because of the excess light pollution. So that's what it had been discussed here. Then harming human health. Like most of life on earth, the humans adhere to a circadian rhythm or biological clock, a sleep-wake pattern governed by day and night cycle. Artificial light at night can disrupt that cycle. Let's say if you are using the mobiles or any digital gadgets in the night means your sleep quality will be affected because it will directly, the blue ray, right? The blue ray in the artificial light, it will be affecting the melatonin secretion. So the melatonin is one of the hormone, it will secrete in the human brain during the deep sleep. So the melatonin secretion will be affected and the next day you will be feeling very tired. So these are all the implications we are getting upon the environment, human beings because of the light pollution. Now with this note, let us move on to the question part. This is the first question, guys. With reference to the green hydrogen, consider the following statements. It can be used directly as a fuel for internal combustion. We can use green hydrogen in place of the fossil fuels in the IC engines, and moreover, the energy per ton with respect to the green hydrogen is comparatively higher than the rest of the energy sources what we are using today. So the first statement is right. Then it can be blended with natural gas and used as a fuel for heat or power generation. In California, 60% of the energy what they are deriving is from the green hydrogen and the combined natural gas resources. So the second statement is also right. Then thirdly, it can be used in the hydrogen fuel cell to run the vehicles. So the emission will be only water. There won't be any CO2 in the fuel cells. So the third statement is also right. So all the three statements are right with respect to the question number 1. This is the second question. Wolbachia method is sometimes talked about with reference to which one of the following? So we should know what is meant by Wolbachia method. In laboratory, the scientists, they used to infect the mosquitoes with the Wolbachia bacteria. So when they infected mosquito, it breed with the conventional mosquitoes. Actually, it will be laying eggs, right? But those eggs, it won't get fertilized. So it will be ending up in the elimination of the population of mosquitoes. So this is the mechanism what we are following in the Wolbachia method. So generally, Wolbachia method is control the viral disease spread by the mosquitoes. So this is the right one. Then converting crop residues into packing material. This is wrong. Then producing biodegradable plastics. This is a clutter sentence. And producing biochar from thermochemical conversion of biomass. This is a pyrolysis. right? So the statement A is the right one for the question number 2. Consider the following statements regarding the mercury pollution. Gold mining activity is a source of mercury pollution in the world. This is true because the mercury pollution is excess in the Central African region where the gold mining activities and all have been prevailing in a large scale. So the first statement is right. Then coal-based thermal power plants cause mercury pollution. Apart from mercury, the coal-based power plants, they are also releasing the nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, then bromine, then several benzene components, then particulates. So these are all the pollutants have been released from the coal-based thermal power plants. Then there is no known power plants cause mercury pollution. Almost all the power plants what we are using, they are releasing the mercury. Even the nuclear power plants. So all the 3 statements are right. The answer option C is the right one for the question number 3. And finally, we are arriving at the end of the discussion. Let me catch you in another discussion tomorrow. Thank you for your patience. Kindly subscribe us. Bye.